Hello everyone, welcome to the classroom. Today we'll be going over a very exciting new release. It is the first English volume of Rooster Fighter by Shu Sakuratani. Thank you for joining us as always. Recently we have seen the resurgence of a new subgenre in shonen battle anime, realistic fantasy. It is just becoming more and more popular among manga and anime aficionados. I believe that this realistic fantasy was popularized again by Jujutsu Kaisen. You can also find it in stories like Demon Slayer and Chainsaw Man. The key hallmarks of this subgenre are two things in my opinion. The first being taking place in the real world, or a world close enough to ours, and the second being the presence of Japanese supernatural folklore-inspired creatures. For example, in Jujutsu Kaisen, you have the story take place in present-day Japan, and the knowledge of curses is kept from the public so that the world can be similar enough to our own. Curses also retain some semblances of human personality. Demon Slayer takes place in our world just 100 years ago. Likewise, demons hold on to some parts of themselves from when they were human. And the second newest entry into this genre I'll be talking about, Chainsaw Man, which takes place in a world mostly like ours in 1997, and devils are born from human fear. In a very similar way, Rooster Fighter takes place in our world, where the main character, who yes, is a sentient rooster, fights demons which are born from humans and retain their human regrets and insecurities. I was going to make a different video for this week, but then on Monday morning I walked into my local bookstore, and one of my buddies there said that he thought I would like Rooster Fighter. And thank you, bookstore buddy. I did. I was a little worried going into this manga that everything it would have going on would just be, oh haha, our main character is a rooster. Isn't that silly? In the same way that dog person manga seems to be. I don't know, I haven't read it. I don't feel comfortable typing it in on Amazon. But that is not the case here, because Rooster Fighter is the story of the Sigma male chicken. The main character of Rooster Fighter, who I will just be calling Rooster, is an chickenly strong rooster, capable of separating flesh from bone with his cock-a-doodle-doo. Rooster is your classic wandering badass type. When he's killed a demon and has nothing more to offer, he skips town. When Rooster spends an evening with a sexy old lady hen, he leaves in the morning, telling her, "I was born to wander. Peace and quiet don't suit me." However, Rooster is certainly not the unaffected, uncaring Sigma that he thinks himself to be. He returns to the hen he spent that night with, only to find her enjoying the company of another rooster. The sight of this clearly upsets our rooster, and he leaves once again. I was worried that this was just going to be some gimmick series. I know that I haven't really gotten to the plot detail yet at this point in the video, and yeah, that was on purpose, just stay with me here. But I found that it was not a gimmick concept at all. This story had really good character writing and really consistent themes that tied the whole thing together. The only problem I have with the series at this point is that while the animals and demons are drawn super well, the humans don't feel like they fit into the same art style. While every animal and demon is drawn with the perfect mix of realism and personification to make them more relatable, a lot of the time the humans just look like Bitmojis. But that's my non-spoiler talk, so now I'm gonna get into my specific thoughts on some of the chapters, and I really recommend picking this one up if you like wackier shonen like Chainsaw Man. Chapter 1. The Bird Who Fights Demons. More so than any other chapter in an ongoing manga series, the most important thing about Chapter 1 is getting your audience to read Chapter 2. Usually this will be done by setting up the main plot of the series in the very first chapter, then leaving something big hanging in the air, many times in the very last panel of the chapter. For instance, My Hero Academia Chapter 1 ends with All Might telling Izuku that he too can become a hero. But what is so impressive about the first chapter of Rooster Fighter is that it doesn't really do that, since so far this series hardly has an overarching plot at all. So what is tying these chapters together? The first chapter shows how quickly Rooster Fighter mangaka Shu Sakuratani can make you really care about a character. An old man known as Gramps, who protects Rooster from some rowdy school children, is particularly impressively portrayed. He choked some tears out of me in just the first few panels as he reminisced about how his late wife used to feed the sparrows. in the same way that he is now feeding a rooster, and it's clear that he hasn't quite moved on. This opening chapter is really solid. It does great legwork at establishing who Rooster is as a person. He says he likes to just move on with the wind, but it's clear that he will stay somewhere if he is being cared for in the way that he does want to be deep down. They also establish that demons have a semblance of their old personality, as a demon who used to be a salaryman lumbers through town yelling, "This month I'll finally meet my quotas." That's how I imagine his voice. Chapter 2, Death from a Bird, starts by showing a demon having killed Rooster's family at the farm they lived at. Which, they would have been killed anyways, but this sets up for me why Rooster was born to wander. I believe that it's likely that he's just never moved on from that loss, and so now he moves on before he can lose more. And this is what connects each chapter, the idea of moving on, especially from loss or tragedy. The rest of this chapter is Rooster killing the salaryman demon, and the action art is also quite well done. Not up to snuff with other action series, but this is the first volume, and I also don't think that action is the focus here. Chapter 3 is titled The Homesick Bird, and it opens up in a zoo. I can't imagine a better setting for a story about animals with human mental issues and pathos than a zoo. The real star of the show is actually not Rooster. This story focuses on Xena the toucan, an elderly bird who is obviously not meant to be in Japan. We learn that Xena was stolen from his family and his home when he was just a child. And obviously he misses them. He specifically says that he misses watching the sunset over the lake with his sisters. But now he views the other birds in the zoo as his current family. In a way, he has moved on. I won't spoil any more about that chapter, but it alone, in my opinion, is worth picking up Rooster Fighter. The final chapter that I'll be talking about to round out this video is Chapter 4, The Bird and the Sea Turtle. Now I know that this will be hard to believe, but please stay with me. We meet an animal cooler than the rooster. The sea turtle.
Fuck the drugs, fuck the cigarettes, fuck that dumb bitch. It all starts fucking today, alright? No more fucking excuses. This is the year of the fucking
sea turtle. This sea turtle we meet is the only animal, man, or demon we've met who can go toe-to-toe with Rooster. For each cock-a-doodle-doo Rooster sends his way, he returns in kind with a turtle tank attack. Soon he reveals that Rooster is the only bird he's ever liked, since on the day he was born, he tried to make it from shore to sea with his family, while the rest of them were eaten alive by the birds. I think that this is a very good example of how Shu Sakuratani uses real animal phenomena and behavior to inform events in the story, since many sea turtles are eaten by birds before they ever make it to the ocean. This is not an incredibly deep parallel, but it's very well written and shows how Rooster and the sea turtle are practically one and the same. The first volume of Rooster Fighter leaves off on a very exciting cliffhanger, and I am super pumped for Rooster Fighter Volume 2 to release on November 15th. If you end up picking up Rooster Fighter Volume 1 and you are impatiently waiting for the next volume like I am, then you should try and track down T-Dragon, which to my ability was the only other manga I could find by the author. I really enjoyed this one volume, and wow, go me, this was the first video I've ever made just about one volume of manga, and if you want to like, subscribe, ring the bell, and leave a comment just for that simple feat of heroics alone, I would not only understand but encourage that. But anyways, that is the video today, everyone. Thank you for joining us as always. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching that video. As always, I really appreciate if you've stuck around to this part. I think that, like, the only person who does is my girlfriend, but whatever, I'm gonna keep doing this part, I guess. The part of my collection I'm showing off today is Haikyuu. I'm having to hold the volumes like this now when I show them off so that they're actually in frame. I look like when L had that, like, cell phone and he was going, "Ah, Matsuda." But anyways, this is a great series. It is fantastic. I've talked about it already briefly. I'm gonna make a whole video on it someday about a specific character. It's about why Tanaka's sister is so hot. But anyways, I love this cover. I think it's my favorite cover that I've seen so far in Haikyuu, that I own anyways. But yeah, it's a great series. If you like sports anime, give it a read. It's fantastic. But thank you for joining us as always. Have a good one.